Hello everybody, welcome back to another video. Hopefully you guys are all having a fantastic day. Today's upload is going to be about the Atlantic Ocean and the tropical insanity that has been going on. There's a Hurricane Beryl, on the in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, which isn't a major concern, but it's still, relatively, it's a hurricane, so we definitely need to address it. And the bigger problem is this little pressure right here, this disturbance that could really develop into a hurricane and impact the U.S. But before we do that, if you want to support my channel, you enjoy these videos, then consider subscribing. And again, I'm not saying to subscribe now, just keep it in the back of your mind after you watch this video and you contemplate whether you like my channel, then you could subscribe. Also, you shouldn't like the video right away. Watch the video, listen to it, and then you could like it if you want to. So that it helps out a lot if you at the end end up enjoying it. So let's go back to the National Hurricane Center right now, and as you can see, Hurricane Beryl, it is a very small hurricane. In diameter, it's about 35 miles, which is insanely small. I'm not sure if it's the smallest hurricane ever. I'm pretty sure Hurricane Arthur is the smallest hurricane ever to be recorded in the Atlantic. And this hurricane, the reason why it became so strong so quickly is because of its size. I mean, think about it. The smaller the person is, the smaller the animal, the faster acceleration. The bigger the animal, the slower the acceleration. Like a bear compared to a cat, the cat will outspeed it at the beginning, but then it will catch up to it. So this is the same thing with hurricanes. A bigger hurricane takes much more to speed up in strength and in speed, but smaller hurricanes like Hurricane Beryl, 80 miles per hour, it quickly increased up to 80 miles per hour. It's moving fairly fast, 15 miles per hour. So some larger hurricanes move up to 6 miles per hour. So this is definitely moving at quite a good pace. It's Category 1 according to the Saffir-Simpson wind scale. And again, the winds sustained at 80 miles per hour. Minimum central pressure 994, and obviously the lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. And it's located at these latitudes and longitudes right there at these coordinates, and it's still far away from any land, and it's going to be tracking right towards the Lesser Antilles. However, again, once before it reaches, it'll calm down into tropical storm, and it will most likely dissipate in the shear. However, it's still a threat because, again, it's a really small hurricane, so if the conditions are favorable for the next 2 days, it could ramp up even into a Category 2 hurricane. And it won't become a major hurricane, I'm pretty sure about that, but if it does become fairly strong, it may take, if it gets stronger, then it will take a little bit longer to disintegrate it. But again, the smaller the hurricane, the faster it speeds up, it faster slows down. So in terms of strength, so if this thing took 2 days to get up to hurricane, it could take 1 or 2 days to get back down to basically nothing. And that is most likely what is going to happen right now. However, there is a huge threat for this is very concernful, and it's right here. Disturbance 1. It's Invest 96L, I'm fairly sure, and that's what its name is. And 70 chance of cyclone formation in 48 hours, and an 80% in the next 5 days. So basically all this text is saying that even though the environmental conditions are not going to be favorable for the next couple of hours or next couple of days, it becomes more conducive later on. And you can see for the next couple of days, while it moves slowly northwestward and stalls or meanders near the coast of Carolina. Over the weekend, interest along the North Carolina and South Carolina coast should monitor the progress of the system during the next several days. So the initial thought with this was that the front centered right here, right now, it passed right through the East Coast, led some flooding in Pennsylvania. In general, the Northeast has been absolutely swamped with this front in some areas, and it's moving, and the thought was that it was going to swipe the storm out into the sea and nothing will happen. However, now the storm has formed a little bit more than we have thought, so it might be able to withstand the energy of the front, and it will continue to strengthen after this front wave passes out. It will come back, and in this pocket right between Florida and the Carolinas, there's some warm water, and this could, all the models are agreeing on it forming into some sort of storm or a low. but not all agree on a track, of course, because that never happens. And so let's go to the forecast models and actually show what I'm talking about. First, however, let's go to the tropical Atlantic and let's check on Hurricane Beryl. So this is the GFS 6-hour average precipitation rate. So it basically shows you how heavy the rain is at that area. You could see some heavier rainfall amounts, but again, no one lives here, or if someone does, it's a tiny island, so no major impacts to land. And you can see this quickly does weaken into just a low pressure, and it dissipates over Puerto Rico and into the Dominican Republic and just leaves some rain and some showers. Maybe some flooding threat, but that is minimal. But you can see right up here, that is our next interest. And we go to let's go to ConUS, and you can see right there it starts forming. So let's go back again, hour 6. So this is where it is currently right now, just very weak. It's an area of elongated low, basically just kind of almost torn apart, but it's getting its strength together, and you can see starts getting together. It really is slow moving at all, if it does move at all. I mean, look at it, it's just constant, barely moves. We're at hour 108 next Wednesday, basically not moving whatever, it's not moving at all. And this finally starts making a move, and at this point this would be 970. I'm thinking would be at least a hurricane category 1. So again, this GFS is showing pretty uncomfortably close to the northeast coast, hitting Nova Scotia by next week Friday. So again, is this going to be correct? Is this 100% sure? No, we don't even know if it's going to form 100%. Again, we only have an 80% chance, which is fairly high, but again, so this is a new run of the European model, but let's go back to the older one because this one hasn't come in yet. So the older one, you could see that has it right there a little bit. It's pretty much the same location as the GFS, a little bit further east. And it has it also just standing there, basically doing nothing, and then finally moves off further east than the GFS has it, but it does have it forming eventually. So the European and GFS are agreeing on some level. Now let's go to the Canadian, another great model to use. And let's go back to hour 0. So you can see fairly similar location at the beginning and just stalls out, again, like all three models have shown. And eventually it does start moving up north, but the other two models, the European and the Canadian, has it much more farther to the east than the GFS. The GFS has it too uncomfortable for my preferences to the east coast. I mean, if it does, even if this could move 100 miles to the west, and it will just cause some heavy rain across the east coast and some trouble. And we haven't had a major hurricane, or even a hurricane hit the east coast. I think since Hurricane Sandy, that was a hurricane. We had a couple of tropical storms, but no really hurricanes that hit the east coast, direct rainfall. So I don't think this one, I really actually can't say anything because this really literally just popped overnight. So you can see all three models are agreeing on this. If we go to the GFS and say you wanted to know how strong the winds are, according to the GFS, how strong it predicts they're going to be, you can see those purple reds. That is about category 1 strength, from anywhere from 50 to 80. So I think that would be category 1, if not category 2 strength hurricane occurring across the northeast if this does happen. But again, will it hit the northeast? We don't know. Will it happen? We don't even know if it will even occur in the first place. So this is definitely something we need to keep an eye on for much more. This is far more something we need to keep an eye on for than Hurricane Beryl, because Hurricane Beryl, if we look to towards this is the models where they saying the forecasted track of it is most likely, and this loads right here. So you could see 8 p.m. Saturday, that's today, even 8 o'clock Sunday in the morning. So tomorrow, the next 2 days, Sunday morning it's still going to be a hurricane, but then Monday morning it's already going to be a tropical storm, and then 8 a.m. Tuesday it's, according to this, still going to be a tropical storm. So this could hold together. I'm not going to say it's not, because this is really hard. The models have been having a really hard time with this storm, so the National Hurricane Center at this point is our best bet, and watching their advisories come in. And you can see hurricane, hurricane, hurricane all the way for the next about 48 hours. It's going to be a hurricane, not impacting much areas. It's going to be weakening between a hurricane and a tropical storm while it hits the Lesser Antilles, and then it just weakens. But from this point on, it's really unsure where it goes. And again, I mind you that anywhere you see this white or even this dotted white, the cone could be. This isn't the area of impacts. Like you could say right here, the cone contains a probable path of the storm center, but it does not show the size of the storm. Hazardous conditions can occur outside of the cone. So just say you live in Jamaica and you're like, oh, we're not going to get mainly hit by it. The center could go right over you. Center could be going right here, and if it did that, that would be probably the worst because it would go over warm waters and intensify. So that would not be good. But if it took the northern path, that would be better because it went over land and it would weaken before it reaches much more populated areas of land. And even if it does hit the land at this point, it's not like if it will cause major damage to Puerto Rico or Dominican Republic. May leave some rain, some showers, some thunderstorms. Doesn't seem to be much of a problem. You can see there are no watches or warnings posted yet on any, not the Leeward Islands, not Puerto Rico, not Dominican Republic, and there's no watches, no warnings, and that is, it's basically not posing much of a threat. So again, our main threat that we need to watch is this little storm. I was looking yesterday in the models around midnight. Don't ask me why I was sitting up till midnight, and you could see that I just noticed this. I think it was the first starting to show it 00 Friday, and that's what you could see. This, it was showing a massive storm really close to the East Coast, but it has backed off on that slightly, and hopefully it keeps backing off because we don't want anything to be hitting the East Coast. That is definitely not good. It might have been 18 o'clock Thursday. Let me check that out. I'm fairly sure it wasn't, but let's see. Yeah, nothing. Yeah, no, not really. It started showing it 00 Friday, so that is around 7 o'clock Friday afternoon. It started showing it. Now let's go to the latest model. You could still see it shows it at 970, the strongest. I think that is 985. Yes, 988, and doesn't seem to be too strong. But again, I don't even know why I'm going into details. First off, because this is so far out. This is a very big question mark. As you can see, it's 80% chance of developing into a some sort of tropical system, not necessarily a hurricane, not necessarily a tropical storm, and not necessarily a tropical depression. One of those three for sure, but I highly doubt it's going to become a hurricane in the next 48 hours. I even doubt it's going to become a tropical storm. I think it's going to become a tropical depression, probably, maybe a tropical storm, but I think not a hurricane. And if you're wondering how much rain this could bring, again, quite a bit of rain, but that is, again, not including the East Coast, because this would be off coast. So it just goes to show you that if the storm did continue its strength and if it went up the East Coast, it definitely would cause some flooding. That's why we need to keep watching it just in case something does happen. But that is basically it for today's update, guys. This hurricane, if you want another look at this, 70% chance of cyclone formation in the next 48 hours. And then here, Hurricane Beryl, Category 1, 80 miles per hour. So that is basically it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. And in fact, I'm pretty sure right around 1 o'clock here, it will be another update from the Hurricane Center. So this might go up in strength, this might go down. I think right now it's still strengthening, so it might reach 85, 90 miles per hour. So thank you guys so much for watching. Please consider subscribing to my channel. Like I said at the beginning, please consider liking the video. Helps out a lot. And thank you guys so much for watching. See you guys on the next video.